Good morning, students. Yesterday we have discussed 7 principles given by Henry Ford. In our today's lecture, we are going to discuss about next 7 principles of Henry Ford. These principles are centralization and decentralization, scalar chain, order, equity, stability of tenure, initiative, and spirit de corps. So let's start with first principle, centralization and decentralization. Before discussing about this principle, let's know about the meaning of term centralization and decentralization. Centralization means concentration of authority or power in few hands at the top level. That means all the powers, all the decision making powers, all the authority are in few hands. Only limited people at top level are having the power to take the decisions. Decentralization means evenly distribution of power at every level of management, that we should divide the power among other employees also, managers at other level also. This is the meaning of centralization and decentralization. Now what does this principle says? Fuel says a company must not be completely centralized or decentralized. That means there should not be completely centralization in the company, not there should not be complete decentralization in the economy. There must be a combination of both depending upon the nature and size of organization. There must be a combination of both. That means there must be a centralization also, as well as there must be decentralization also. A small organization can be well organized and managed with centralized technique. If there is a small organization, it can be very well managed. As it is a small organization, it is very well managed. It doesn't need too much people to manage it. So it can be centralized only. In large organization, there is need of decentralization. When there are large organization, when number of people are working, where burden is more on regarding the work, in that case we need decentralization. So you can see in this figure centralization and decentralization of authority. The first left hand side figure is showing centralization. The blue one is the one superior only. He is giving orders, instructions to all the persons, and he is having only the authority with him. The second figure to the right side is decentralization. There are three colored, that is green, pink and blue. All these three are superiors or managers at different level, and they are authority is divided among all the three people. So there must be a balance between authority and there must be a balance between centralization and decentralization. Now comes positive effects and negative effects. First are positive effects. Benefits of centralization as well as decentralization. If we will follow both, centralize a combination of both, that means there is centralization also and there is decentralization also. That means we are going to gain or get the benefits of both the ways of organizing, like centralization as well as decentralization, and we are going to discuss about these terms in detail in further chapters. Then is next benefit, positive benefit is fast decision at operational level and strict control by top level. Because we have distributed the decision making authority at the lower levels also, middle level or the lower level also, so decision making will be fast, and because decision making will be fast, we have taken the decision ourselves only, so we do not need much control by the top level management. The negative effects are complete centralization leads to delay in decision making. If we will not follow this principle, that means either there will be complete centralization or there will be complete decentralization. If there will be complete centralization, that means all the authorities are in the hand of the top level management only. That will delay in decision making. That means whenever we are supposed to take any decision, we need to take any decision, we have to approach the higher authorities. अगर आप सपोज आपने कोई प्रोडक्शन करनी है, यू नीड टू बाय द रॉ मटेरियल, लेकिन आपके पास इतनी अथॉरिटी नहीं है दैट यू कैन परचेज द रॉ मटेरियल, यू हैव टू अप्रोच योर सीनियर फॉर दैट. मतलब पहले आपको सीनियर के डिसीजन की वेट करनी पड़ेगी. दैट मीन्स देयर इज डिले इन डिसीजन मेकिंग. सेकेंड इज कंप्लीट डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन लीड्स टू मिस यूज ऑफ अथॉरिटी. Complete decentralization means there is no centralization, all the powers are divided completely. In that case, sometimes subordinates they do misuse of their authority. They do not take their authority responsibility seriously. So next principle is Next, first of all, we are going to do difference between centralization and decentralization. Bache, again, I'll tell you this difference is important for you. These can be asked in either 2 marks, 1 mark question or the 3 marks question. And whenever you are going to write any kind of differences, you are supposed to write the basis of difference also. It carries marks. First difference is meaning. Meaning says concentration of power only at higher level in centralization. That means all powers are remain with the higher level only. Whereas in decentralization, evenly distribution of power at every level of management, power is distributed among all the people. In centralization, authority remains at top level only, whereas in decentralization, authority gets divided because we are dividing the power to take the decision. Now comes next principle, principle of scalar chain. This is the most important principle. Please listen it very carefully. Scalar chain means lines of authority or chain of superior from highest to lowest rank. स्केलर चेन का मतलब है लाइन ऑफ अथॉरिटी, यानी यहाँ पे हमें सुपीरियर सुबॉर्डिनेट की एक चेन बनी हुई है. You must have seen in your school also, like you people, then teachers, then Nidhi ma'am, then we have principal ma'am, Ruhani ma'am. So we have a chain of this authority, chain of superior from higher level to lower level also. So this chain must be followed strictly in the organization. This principle says that this chain must be followed in the organization strictly. That means if students want to talk to principal ma'am, they should convey their message to teachers. Teachers should go to Nidhi ma'am. Nidhi ma'am should go to principal ma'am. So there should be a chain hierarchy should be followed. No skipping of any one key should be allowed. बीच में कहीं पे भी किसी भी रोल को किसी भी पोजीशन को स्किप नहीं करना है. Exception to this principle is gangplank, but there is one exception to this principle, that is gangplank. And gangplank, but before explaining you about gangplank, let me tell you one example. See this figure. This is a chain. A is the superior most position. There are two different departments. B, C, D are working in one department. E, F, G are working in different department. If D wants to talk to G, D has to approach C. C will tell to B. B will tell to A. Then A will tell to E, then F, and then the point will reach to G. This is the principle of scalar chain. But if come to the previous slide, gangplank is the exception to this principle. Exception means in certain cases you can remove this chain, you can ignore this chain. Gangplank permits direct communication between the employees working in different positions without following the scalar chain. Without following scalar chain, sometimes because of gangplank only, employees at different positions can talk to each other, but this is possible only and only in case of emergencies only, not in casual cases. Suppose D wants to talk to G. In case of emergency only, D can directly approach G, but not casually in case of emergencies only. So this is gangplank. So now we are going to discuss about positive effects and negative effects of this principle. First of all, positive effects. Systematic flow of information. Because we are following a hierarchical chain in communication, so information will flow systematically. Second is no communication gap. From lowest level till highest level, everyone will be aware about the information. Like in this example, once again, from D till A, everyone is knowing which information D is going to give to G. From A to G, again E and F all are knowing which information is being conveyed by D. So there will be no communication gap. Negative effects. No clarity in authority responsibility relationship. In case we will not follow the principle of scalar chain, that means we are not following the hierarchical chain, there will be no clarity about authority responsibility relationship. That means who is answerable to whom for a particular work. And second thing is communication gap. There will be communication gap among the employees.